Hi, kids. All right, let's talk about The Searchers. Number 19 on this list of greatest films of all time from 1956, directed by John Ford. This is the second and final John Ford on this list, starring John Wayne, Vera Miles, who will appear on this list again, Natalie Wood, Ward Bond. This is the fifth appearance of Ward Bond on this list. The other John Ford film was Grapes of Wrath. Ward Bond also in that. He's in the pair of Frank Capra films. It Happened One Night, plays a bus driver. It's a Wonderful Life. He plays, is he Bert or is he Ernie? There's Bert and Ernie in that film, if you didn't know. I think he's Bert. And he's also in The Maltese Falcon. So that's 5 entries for Ward Bond on this list. Also, Jeffrey Hunter is in this. Jeffrey Hunter, Star Trek fans, you may know as Captain Pike. He's the original captain, right? So, The Searchers is based on a novel of the same name, I believe, by Alan LeMay. 1954, the novel comes out. Alan LeMay, writer, screenwriter, and novelist, known mostly for writing adventure stories, westerns, sometimes in screenplay form, sometimes in novel form, sometimes in both. So Ford takes that, makes some changes, of course, as will happen with any adaptation or even a biography, right? Things are changed. Characters become composites of one character. Characters are added, removed. The ending is usually changed, Hollywoodized, or in this case, John Fordized. So the ending changed in this and what it is in the novel. So, starring John Wayne, this is our first and I believe our only John Wayne film on this list. So let's talk about John Wayne the Duke. So John Wayne was born in Iowa because that's where cowboys are born. And then when he was 9, his family moved to California. And because he was 9, he moved with his family. That's the way it works. So John Wayne was born Marion Morrison. And when he was younger, he had a dog named Duke. So he got the nickname from having the dog. It was Big Duke and Little Duke. He much preferred the name Duke to Marion. So in high school, he went by Duke Morrison. Got into the film business around 1930. He starts being credited as, or prior to that, as Duke Morrison. And then in 1930 is when he gets the name John Wayne. Director gives it to him based on the name of the Revolutionary War general, Mad Anthony Wayne, who is one of the founding fathers. So that's where he gets the Wayne part of the name. And then the whole cowboy screen persona, because remember, he's from Iowa and California. Wayne will say he based it on Wyatt Earp. That's what he'll say. He'll also say sort of his slow-speaking manner was copied off Harry Carey, an actor. But that's not the truth. So the truth is, 1932, Wayne works with a stuntman, a real cowboy who got into the film industry as a stuntman. Yakima Canet is his name. Basically, everything about Wayne's on-screen persona, he just kind of borrowed from Yakima Canet. The slow speaking style, the way he stood, the way he walked, everything about on-screen cowboy was from Yakima Canet. So, Ethan Edwards, his character he portrays in this, Ethan Edwards is not a nice guy. Is he one of the first anti-heroes? I guess not, because we've got film noirs and everything, but one of the most famous anti-heroes. Very influential, and even something like Breaking Bad, the finale of Breaking Bad is influenced by The Searchers. Is he an edgelord? Do you know what an edgelord is? So Ethan Edwards, common refrain he says in the film is "That'll be the day." Charlie Hawley and his brother watched the films as youth. And Charlie went on to write a song called That'll Be the Day. And Charlie, of course, changed his name also to Buddy Holly. So Buddy Holly's That'll Be the Day, if you didn't know, is from The Searchers. This film is in VistaVision. This film becomes kind of the stereotype you think of when you think of Westerns, the landscape, Monument Valley, which John Ford, big fan of. This film takes place in Texas. Monument Valley, not in Texas. It's a Utah, Arizona border, I believe. So when David Lean goes to make Lawrence of Arabia, he goes back and he watches The Searchers and studies it on how to film the landscape and the scenery. It's there. And then the 70s film brats are very influenced by The Searchers, which is how it probably ends up number 19 on this list. Scorsese, Travis Bickle is kind of his version of Ethan Edwards, Taxi Driver. Spielberg has copied shots or homaged shots in things like Close Encounters, as has George Lucas in Star Wars. Coppola, I think maybe the ending of The Godfather with the closing of the door is very similar to the ending of this film with the closing of the door. By the way, the shot of Ethan and his silhouette through the doorway and the landscape. Tarantino has a similar shot in Django, and when asked if that was a reference to or a pull from The Searchers, Tarantino denied it. Not a big fan of John Ford. He said, what, you think he's the first guy to figure out how to shoot through a doorway? Something to that effect. Tarantino is a big fan of Howard Hawks. There kind of seems to be a divide between some directors of it's a Hawks versus Ford thing. It's film Twitter with real directors. I don't know why you got to pit them against each other. John Carpenter, also, obviously, maybe to some people, huge Howard Hawks fan. So, because of those 70s film brats, AFI's 100 Greatest American Films, the first edition in 98, just cracked the list at 96. But in 2007, it jumped all the way up to number 12. On that list is the 12th greatest film. According to critics, they might have been influenced by those people and now have a higher opinion than the next crop of directors, because on Metacritic, it's the 95th greatest film of all time. Then the British Film Institute in 2012, their list of greatest films of all time, it was number 7 on the critics list and number 48 on the directors. So liked more by critics, according to the list. And then 2022, it was number 15 on the critics list, 72 on the directors. So that is The Searchers. That is it. John Ford. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. Bye.